We're all out of order.
No.
Let us know when you can see and hear us. If you're there, chat room.
The truth.
I know.
Yes.
Things are happening.
All right. Cool. Well, I may as well just check the main page then. All right. Survey Monkey says hit button. Okay. Come on. There we go. And button says we are live. All right. Whenever you're ready, McCullough.
Okay. Just a second. Let me ignore all the tabs besides the one that should be up. All right. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
Guildhall plans are underway.
We have found our destiny.
It paid to be a ticket holder.
We have Captain Sybil's STO update.
And we are our own guests.
All that and more coming up now. Welcome to episode 285 of the podcasting celebrating you, the Alia Octa S gaming community. The Die Has Been podcast. I'm Vakala. To my virtual left is Muko.
Catchphrase here. No, greetings, gamers.
And downstairs and to the right is Tetsemi.
Alt-itis, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You two might know a few things about that. And we are doing a few. We'll get into that later. So we're hosting a words are hard. We are doing a host show this week. So welcome us.
Yay.
So I guess we don't need to go into what we're going to doing in and out of game right now because we're going to go into that a little later. But first, before we start talking to ourselves, digging into ourselves, no.
Something.
Talking amongst ourselves, let's cover this week's news.
AIE News. In community news, BlizzCon 2017 Guildhall plans are well underway, and we will have more information for you, including hours of operation, where to volunteer if you'd like to help out, and what's going to be going on in the Guildhall a bit later once we have everything finalized. I'll probably be doing that mostly in the forums, so keep an eye on there.
Yep.
And then in general Imperium Ludi news, are you playing Destiny 2? Well, we have got a clan for you. No, seriously. We have AIE clans for both PC and console. Follow the directions that Driss has helpfully posted in the forum thread for information on how to join.
And in WoW news, do you want to take a look back at all the content we've gone through this year? Or see what you've been missing if you haven't been playing much, if at all? Well,
really?
Blizzard has, shots fired. Well, Blizzard has put up the BlizzCon 2017 year in review for the World of Warcraft on their BlizzCon site, and it's available for everyone to see, ticket holders and non-ticket holders. Also on that site, new content releases every Wednesday leading up to BlizzCon 2017, and there's some cool ticket holder only content like Inside the Blizzard Vault Episode 3, which just came out. There's a whole series of Inside the Blizzard Vault, which is awesome. There are a lot of casual and advanced cosplay series videos and the Artist Journeys series, which are all really cool videos. If you have the physical or virtual ticket, you definitely should be checking out the site to see what's coming out. And you do have to be logged into your account that has the ticket on it to see the extra videos.
Awesome. And in SOTOR news, SOTOR Escape Podcast 212, live from Korriban. This week, AIE SEMA, Max the Grey, and Astromech EPC 212 start new characters on Korriban and began a session of playthrough focusing on lore, tips, etc., while also talking about other game and community news this week in SOTOR. If you'd like to join them, if you'd like to join AIE's the multi-guild game is always looking for new members in SOTOR. The officer channel on Jedi Covenant is at /cjoin AIE LFO, and more guild information is available at aie-guild.org/SOTOR. Catch the live podcast and chat room on Tuesday nights from 10:30 Central at Twitch TV, New World Overlord. Wow, I can't speak today. New Overlords. Follow and subscribe on Twitter, YouTube, etc. To hear podcast news and see the other guild streams. And in
you can blame Apollos for this one. No,
Right?
This is completely Apollos, not mine.
breaking news from the Imperial News. I'm not reading this.
Fine. Breaking News Network from the Imperial News Network. This week, the Monday Mandatory Fun Night will be on the Imperial side, and next week will be on the Republic side.
All right, then. Thank you for taking over the Imperial News.
You know.
I do not believe in propaganda.
Which you couldn't hear in the inflection of his voice was the strike through scum word. So
Yeah.
Blame
Yeah,
Apollos.
at least that got struck out.
Hashtag blame Apollos.
yes.
That's a valid hashtag.
And then in Final Fantasy XIV news, are you interested in doing 8-man content in Final Fantasy XIV and don't know where to start? Duress has an ongoing spreadsheet to help organize groups. Contact him in the AIE Discord in the FFXIV or Final Fantasy XIV silly Roman numerals channel to get access, or update the spreadsheet with your availability if you already have access. And don't forget, the AIE Guild is now on Goblin, not on Gilgamesh. Also, keep in mind that you need to keep October 10th free, as that is the finally announced launch date of patch 4.1, which means new housing as well as a ton of other content, but seriously, housing, that's what everyone's talking about, right?
Yep.
Pretty much. Also in 4.1, we get this expansion's first Alliance raid, so that'll give people an easy place to get gear and good, the many Fs, Final Fantasy Friday Fun Fest,
Fitness, fun,
all the Fs you can think of. Yes, that'll be a simple, easy introduction to a larger group content for folks who might be intimidated by the other raid dungeon content, which is understandable. Yeah, because at the 8-man stuff, 8-man, like if you lose the person, whew, but
right.
When 16 and larger, you can, well, not to mention the fact that you have more people that can res, but you can survive a death or two, no big deal.
Awesome. All right, and we have Captain Sybil's Star Trek Online News Summary for the week ending in 10/1/2017. Celebrating Star Trek: The Next Generation's 30th birthday. No, I'm too young for that to be the case. Star Trek Online is offering free uniforms and shuttlecraft. Yes, the adorable unisex skirt suit is available from all factions and all genders. Also, that almost came out really bad.
I was going to say, that is not what you were going to say. I know that.
Nope. Sometimes my eyes deceive me and my brain takes over and it's not safe for anything. Anyway, also a Type 7 shuttlecraft will be concurrently released as well. Better hurry, as this free promotion ends October 5th. The STO website has the shuttle specs and fashions on display. As a tribute to the new Star Trek Discovery series on CBS, STO is giving away free Discovery uniforms for Federation captains only. There's one handsome uniform for the right price. Free! Better. This promotion ends. Again, better hurry. This promotion ends October 6th. And again, you'll find those fashions on the website. Additional Beyond the Nexus related missions, the Drator Gauntlet and Melting Pot were released to introduce players to the new Lokari Kentari Drator colony world. These missions will also no,
it's fine.
No,
It's just like, how'd you get through that? That's a bunch of words.
I was wondering where the T came from.
Lokari
Kentari,
Dranar. Yeah, you got it.
Because there was there we go. These missions will
Expertise.
also familiarize fleet members with the new Fleet Starbase. Now, the original Beyond the Nexus mission, released September 12th, will be unlocking week 2 and 3 replay rewards. This completes the Trilithium Lace Weaponry set and Universal Upgrade tokens. The Kobayashi? Yeah, Kobayashi Maru event returns this weekend. This is the famous Starfleet Academy no-win training scenario that Cadet James T. Kirk hacked to win. Test your captain skills by attempting to beat the event and win bonus marks into lithium. The lithium. Wow. I can't do Star Trek today. Dilithium. Also, weekend bonuses vouchers have been added to your winnings to allow captains to complete reputation projects. And this is why you all want me to read this part, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The Zenkethi lockbox has been introduced with new ships and prizes. Also, by sheer coincidence, there's a 50% lockbox sale through the Sea Store until October 6th. Get your keys to take advantage of all the cool lockbox prizes. And finally, don't forget, AIE Starfleet Base is always seeking contributions, materials, and personnel. And all the information, this one over here, include as well as news, backstories, and patch notes, is available on the Star Trek Online website, StarTrekOnline.com. Until then,
Awesome
Captain
job.
Sybil says, live long and prosper.
See, I'm convinced that maybe you're slightly Star Trek intolerant, and you're like your lips swell up a little bit when you're talking.
No. I am just fine with Star Trek. My best friend and I.
She's not Garrett Wanzerl, you know.
My best friend and I have been having, the conversation about Star Trek and Star Wars for the last 30 plus years. So no, I'm definitely not Star Trek intolerant. It's just not a language that I'm fluent in.
And FYI, I like Star Trek Discovery. I think it's really good. The first 2 episodes are cool, and the next one will be interesting. Our best friend, a roommate, doesn't like what they did with the Klingon look and the growl and stuff like that, but I like it.
But she's not really known to like change, and it's a change.
I know, exactly. All right, and speaking of change, in Guild Wars 2, the Path of Fire expansion has launched. Head on over to the AIE Discord and hop into the GW2 channel for discussion and all the strategies on the new expansion content and Jedis and ramblings. But with that said, let's get back to us and find out what we have been up to. So,
Ooh,
I know. McCullough, what have you been up to?
4'10",
Accurate?
5'1" of my favorite heels.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have been getting ready for FanFest, which is going to be at the Phoenix Convention Center the weekend of November 10th and 11th. 11th and 12th, one of those two. It's a Saturday-Sunday show. It's a smaller version of Phoenix Comic-Con, where lots of vendors are trying to get some good guests lined up, panels, lots of fun stuff, and cosplay, of course. As you will know, our main Comic-Con is in the middle of summer, which is great if you're in a cool building. However, getting to and from in and out of cosplay is a little challenging.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, they started FanFest, which is great because it is it's the nicer time of the year. They started out in actually Cardinal Stadium, but that's kind of on one side of the town, so they took it back down to the Phoenix Convention Center, which is the middle of town. So because I'm vending, making lots of jewelry, steampunk jewelry, playing with some new kind of cool quote designs, of course, my regular Alice in Wonderland, and some fun gothy designs as well, and bumping up the Cthulhu. Because who doesn't need more Cthulhu?
Right.
So that's one thing. Kind of focused with work because we have a new class that just started, and I'm somehow in charge of whipping them to shape, which
Very
involved me talking for 6 hours straight the other day and just wanting to retreat into a hole.
Did you people too much?
I peopled too much. You know what's bad when you have to the next day teach a 3-hour class, and it's much easier to deal with in 6 hours
Yeah.
because of over peopling.
You were peopling at the people.
It was way too much people. It really was.
So what have you been doing in gaming?
Lots of games with dice. Friday D&D is still going. For every other Friday D&D is going strong. Something about a 1,200 year time jump and somehow the world going to hell and being demon run. And would it be great if I was a WoW warlock?
I was gonna say, yeah, this sounds like Legion. What?
Yeah. There are some Legion linkages.
Right.
And the great thing is, or the not so great thing is, everyone seems to know us in this world.
You're famous. That's good and bad.
And bad, yeah. And you really, I may have tried to pull the "Do you know who we are" line last week.
Do you know who I am?
Like, yeah, well, we know exactly who you are. You need to fight this guy. But I did try because the barbarian may have tried to rage at and try to attack a god.
Which
a
one?
Gnoll. It's actually a demon lord, the Gnoll god.
okay.
Yeskuth?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old art had him looking very gnollish with the three-headed flail.
Right.
So instead, we ended up having to fight a really, really scary dark monk that almost
Ooh.
decimated our party.
I was gonna say that's monk NPCs are not good. Those are
No.
tough.
Plus, the dang thing, if we cast spells, we took damage.
Mm-hmm.
But spells attacked him or affected him the best, which is why if we cast spells, we took damage.
Right.
Oh, and my warlock's hand is now a Cthulhu tentacle.
That's awesome.
Why not?
No, it's not.
It is. You're just becoming one with your god.
Oh yes, and all the gods are dead except for mine.
Right. Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, mine has
As long as you
more
don't-
power here.
As long as you
Oh.
don't turn into one of those.
No, that wouldn't be cute.
And
The,
the Worgen-
hand's about right though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this came in loot box, and I was like, "What in the world is this thing?" And it says it's a Demogorgon from D&D.
It is a
Yeah,
Demogorgon.
That's really cool. Which
Yep.
loot box is this? When did we get it?
But yeah, I just happened that you were talking about all the different fun demons and monsters and whatnot, and tentacle arms. I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, no, that is pretty much what our arm looks like. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Um,
Heather, what
yeah.
was the quote? I need 3 more experience points. Quick, somebody say Demogorgon.
I need 2 more experience points. Someone say Demogorgon. Yep.
Yeah.
Wednesday night, which is with some tadpoolers. We had some fun. We had a very long battle the other night, and we are in Icewind Dale, or above Icewind Dale. Actually, we're in the eye of the Allfather.
Okay,
And
so
it's
wait a minute.
cold.
You're doing. So Wednesday night, you're doing. Forgotten Realms,
Storm King.
Storm King, and then what are you
Mm-hmm.
doing Friday nights?
That is also Forgotten Realms, but it is not not a module. It is, it is basically Forgotten Realms in name only.
Right.
But the really cool thing was our DM was very inspired by the dragons in WoW.
Oh, okay.
So the
Very cool.
so like the dragons are like they take the elven form, or the
Right.
human forms that they look kind of elven, and they kind of have a care about. Well, some of them have a care about humanity.
Mhm.
Some of them don't. So yeah, no, it's also Forgotten Realms, but it's a homebrew basically.
Cool. And then is Saturday night Curse of Strahd?
Sunday night's Curse of Straw, but that unfortunately due to the DM getting married and one of the players getting married, not to each other, we're temporarily on hold. I'm imagining once the DM gets back from his honeymoon, we'll then have to deal with the other players dealing with his wedding stuff. So
Right. Gotcha.
So someone cast mass marriage and devastated your party.
yes, pretty much. Well, real life happens. That's the way of game, unfortunately. And then every other Saturday's World of Darkness, which I'm happy to be finally playing because that's been a weird, long, winding road of me not playing that in that system.
Is that White Wolf?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's in the vein of Vampire or Mage.
Same world.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
So, Mew, what have you been doing in and out of game?
For the most part, it's been Destiny, Divinity, The Final Fantasy, and WoW. So
Wow.
yes. So for the most part, I want to say I was definitely big into the Destiny 2 console launch. I enjoyed the story quite a bit. It was definitely an improvement over the first game. The only downside is that as I'm playing, it's like, oh, this will be fun with other people. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun when we have more people. And so it was kind of like a distracting theme. It's like, oh man, I can't wait to do this, do some raids with a bunch of AIE
with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I've pretty much done all the solo content that you can do. Their campaign mode. So I basically need to do the gear grind in order to do their raids, because you have to be at a certain, it was light level. What do they call it? I think they just call it power in Destiny 2. But you have to grind yourself to a certain gear level in order to be able to survive. Because you can go to the raids if you really want to, but something will just shoot you and you'll fall over. So it's usually not a good thing.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like a good time. I'll say that's a party.
Yep, definitely not. Also, that's on the PS4, which that's in the living room, so it's a little harder to wander out there and get going on Destiny when I have this thing with everything else on it. Speaking of which, I've been playing the new game Divinity. I think it's Original Sin 2. Mm-hmm. But that's been a very interesting game because I've that
more of an RP based,
it's
like not an MMO, but like more like a character based.
Yeah, it's basically take Diablo, add more interactive story because Diablo is very, very on rails. Add a more interactive story, and then add Civilization's rule set.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Because I've not played XCOM because a lot of people say, oh, it's basically just XCOM.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with XCOM.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, also depending on how you make your party, certain things are easier or harder, or will give you advantages to missions.
I'm trying to figure all that out. Yeah, that's the thing is it's you pick a main character in the single player. There's also co-op multiplayer, so then everybody can pick their own character, and then your party is all the people.
Right.
But it's an interesting system. So you can either make your own character, or you can pick one of the preset characters.
Right.
And the difference is the preset characters have a huge backstory. Mm-hmm. So if you play as one of them, you're acting as them, and very, I want to say, Mass Effect style. You'll have your different dialogue choices, and it'll tell you you can. This will be a strength check. This will be a influence check. This will be a wit check. This will be intelligence. For the pre-made characters, they'll also have additional options because of their backstory. I've been playing the Red Prince, which is a red lizard. He's royalty that got cast down because he did some naughty stuff that his people didn't like so much. So you're basically you have the choice of being hoity-toity, or do you know who I am, or you can It's kind of interesting because you can either you can play it completely to that character. Like he'll usually have at least one of his choices on the screen, and you can always hit that. But you don't have to. You could choose any of the other options that are open to everyone. So you're basically crafting a story yourself.
Right. Cool.
Did you? But speaking of the XCOM, did you ever do the Shadowrun version that they put out?
Well, I've never played any XCOM. That's just it.
Oh,
I'm not familiar with the genre at all. So this is my first time playing with this genre.
Yeah,
so
the Shadowrun was really good and really well done.
Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, I've been wanting to try out XCOM for a while because I've seen a lot of people playing it and it looks interesting. But like I said, it reminds me of it's Diablo but turn-based.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. And there's a lot of strategy onto. Okay, I'm being attacked by 5 guys, and here's my team of 5, so I need to get line of sight on them or get in range so spells hit, but then I need to make sure I've got somebody blocking them so their line of sight doesn't hit me. Yep. So there's a lot of strategy in the turn-based on how to make you successful, but there's also a ton of story in there.
Yeah, there is. I've been hearing kind of bits and pieces of it. Some of my gaming crew are playing it, and I'll just see a comment of something that happens, or hey, it would have been easier to handle this boss if I had this going, or
yeah.
Well, yeah, I stumbled across. I'm on the starter island, and I stumbled across this weird creature, and he's just blathering and screaming about flowers.
Oh wow!
And my first time of coming across him, I didn't have what he wanted. It said, hey, I'll try to help you, whatever. It's like, no, you don't have what I want. And so he tries to, attack me, and he does manage to kill me. So I roll back to my previous game save and decide, well, maybe going towards him isn't a good idea. Let's avoid him for now. And then I happened to come across a flower.
Right.
Picked up the flower, wandered over to him. New option, give him the flower. Gave him the flower. He's like, oh, hey, thanks. This is great. Here, have a really awesome ring for your trouble.
Right,
and
yeah.
he wanders off. So,
oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's very much like, it's a who you know, what you have, what you find, what you know.
Right.
Who's with you.
Look at the drop. Look at the drop.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, and you want to save a lot. Right,
that makes sense.
Especially because the loot you give, for example, I one of those many times I didn't save quite soon enough, so I had to reloot a chest, and whole new items came out, like completely different from what I had before. Okay. So it's just little things like that. Like if some people like to roll the dice and see what interesting things come out of chests. Well, you can save right before you open and just see what's in it over and over, and the game allows that. So it's very interesting. It's also, it doesn't hold your hand. You gotta kind of have to figure things out on your own. It's definitely not current WoW. It's more like vanilla WoW, where there's occasional quests, and it has a journal telling you what you're trying to figure out, but it only shows you what you know. And if someone was nice enough to give you a map marker, but they're not always going to do that. They might just say it's over yonder somewhere.
Right.
And you got to figure that out. Yeah. Yep. Lots of little secrets to stumble across. Yeah, it's definitely a very rich game. I found myself up far too late playing it. So, it's... Yeah. But so that's been very interesting, and that I'll definitely blame on Jen, because she was interested in the game, and so since I bought it on Steam, that means she has access to it. So I can start.
Jen.
Yep, I can start blaming my gaming on her now.
Good, perfect.
Yep. And then beyond that, then on to Final Fantasy. I've been off and on focusing on the Yokai Watch special event. It's just a rehash of the one we had last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, where you're basically just grinding what they call fates, the live events, to get these tokens to buy pets, which is why Eludra's really into it right now. But then as you battle those same fates with the new pets you've bought, then it drops new tokens that you can buy weapons with. So it's just it's kind of a grind fest. So you don't want to just, unless you're into it, you don't want to just sit there and grind everything in one sitting. So I've kind of been grinding it bit and pieces here and there, and trying to get tons of the gold saucer points so that I can get some of the fun gear there. So that's been the focus of my Final Fantasy, as I am waiting for all the housing fun and all the story to come. They did show some interesting stuff in some of the live letters and some of the announcements they've done. There's definitely some interesting story coming. It's what, a few months now since launch, so story, spoilers at this point. Spoiler. That we did liberate Al Amigo. So now this patch is going to be them focusing, well, now what do we do? Because you have all these people that have been under, Imperial boot for, about 25 years, I think. So now it's like, well, now what do we do? So that's what the patch looks like it's going to be focusing on. So that's going to be some interesting stuff. Their content patches have always been really interesting. I've been amazed at how much story that they sneak into just a content patch. It's pretty cool. And of course that new, Alliance raid, which should be very interesting. It's always interesting to see this game with tons of people in a raid, because there's just so much going on. And more Hildebrand. Everyone loves Hildebrand because he's the comic relief. So yeah, fun there.
Awesome.
And then finally, my other focus, DeWow, has been. So I'll let Timmy talk more about what Fert's been doing. But my other team, finally, as of this week, is now 7 of 9 on Heroic.
We're back to Star Trek?
Yeah, they yes. We kind of hit like a weird lull, to where we were losing people. We were stuck at 5 of 9 for a very long time, and we just couldn't get the push through because we just didn't have the people. The raid is really hard if you don't have at least 15 people, and we were getting about 11 or 12. So it was just
designed for 10 people unless you're completely overgeared or overskilled.
Yep. Because if one person dies, that's it. You're screwed. So especially the we were having trouble with Maiden, the Guitar Hero boss. You can't.
I love that boss.
That's hilarious.
It's a lot of fun until you get to heroic, and then it's very punishing. That fun bit where you jump into the hole.
Yeah, you got to time that.
Yeah, you have to time it now because they don't give you the slow fall. Like you are just falling, period. And if you do it too soon, bye. You do it too late, well, you just blew everyone up. Right. So yeah, fun there. But yeah, we finally did push through there, and now we're beating our heads on Fallen Avatar, and that is definitely a much harder fight on heroic. It's very punishing. There's a new, because it's Tomb of Soak Garrus. There's a new soaking mechanic in heroic that on top of every other bit of nonsense that's going on in that fight, everyone has to soak these puddles, or just like on Kill Jaden, it wipes the raid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's been fun. So that's what we're beating our heads up against now. Other than that, speaking of the earlier Altitis, that's what I've been focusing on as well. Trying to get a Warlock and a Death Knight. That's my focus because I've already got 2 Druids, a Warrior, the Rogue, a Paladin, and so I need a Warlock and a Death Knight, and then I'll move on to the other classes, which I don't use quite as often. But so yeah, it's been my focus, seeing all the different stories, how they all interlock. Because at this point, you definitely want to see what the stories are in the individual class halls, because we're kind of getting past the point where what they've done is now affecting everyone. It's not just their class hall. Right. So you get to see what the work each of the class halls has been doing to bring to the big stuff. Yeah. Except of course, oddly enough, I was kind of because I went through the Druid one again. And I was kind of taken aback with the fact that their class hall stuff doesn't seem to be affecting what we're doing anymore. Like, they were huge in Emerald Nightmare. Yeah. And that was it.
And it's that's kind of like, okay, done.
Yep. So it's like they're no longer relevant. Like they cleared out the Emerald Nightmare. Hey, thanks, guys. Okay, see ya. Have fun with the Legion. It's like, okay. Whereas it's interesting. Every other class hall seems like they're definitely, gunning for Argus. So... But that's been my gaming. So how about you, Tets?
A lot of raiding as well. We've gotten Kill Jaden down 2 weeks consecutively on normal, so we've considered him on farm now. One of those, we actually had long lost people show up. Scott showed up for a raid night, and we got Kill Jaden down with him. And then John from Azeroth Roundtable showed up for a night, and we got stuff down with him as well. So it's good that we got people slowly coming back. But yeah, Mew, you mentioned having trouble with not having enough people. Have you looked at the data mine stuff that's coming out from the new raid?
Not yet. I've heard little pieces here and there that apparently there's some interesting gear coming.
Yeah, there's 6 trinkets coming, and if you have all 6 in the raid and they all proc, it gets a secondary. There's a primary ability that's always on, and then if all 6 proc and they're all active in the raid, which usually happens at the pull, then you get the secondary effect on it. So I can really see, you're going to need 2 tanks, you're going to need 2 healers, but then you're going to need like 8 DPS to have multiple versions of the DPS trinkets, just so that procs as much as possible. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
So that's tank, healer, melee DPS, range DPS. What's the other 2? I guess was it strength versus agility? Maybe.
Yeah, there's a strength, agility, int, and then I'm trying to remember. There's like 2 different versions of the DPS. I think there's 3 or 4 different versions of the DPS.
It could be that it could be there's 2 different agilities, one for range, one for melee.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I can think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah. So definitely those smaller groups are going to feel it. And I'm surprised that the current raid content actually has that handicap. It seemed like it didn't seem to be that bad in the past, but they've definitely been tuning it for larger groups lately.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, and we noticed because the more, it used to be we were worried when we would get, 15, 18 people in, but now it seems like we're less successful if we don't have 15 to 18 people in just for the extra mechanics and stuff like that, especially the soaking mechanics.
How's it working when you have somebody that might not be as geared or has had the experience with the raid? So it might be a little harder to do those mechanics. Is there any compensation, or is it making it harder or easier?
Right now on normal, because of the Argus gear, because you're getting 930 gear from the invasion. If you're lucky, you're generally getting 910, 915 plus gear from the Veiled Argonite. You're generally at this point for our raid team at normal, we're over gearing it so we can carry a couple people. What worries me is going into the new raid,
right?
What the gear requirement's going to be, and that sort of thing. So we'll see how it plays out. But right now we're in a good spot. At least our team feels like it's in a good spot.
Cool, because I know, when we were raiding together, when it came to ability-wise, I know I was always one of the lower levels when it came to just understanding and how to work those mechanics. So I know sometimes it would. Yeah, I'm a body. It's great that I'm there as a party member. However, sometimes it would make things harder for everybody else.
I mean, it definitely depends. Gear helps a lot, but there's a lot more requirement on the weapon than the rest of the gear, because you could have 910 gear, but if you've got bad stuff socketed in your weapon, or you forgot to socket your weapon, or you haven't been keeping up with concordance on the weapon, you're going to suffer. It will affect your DPS. And like I said, our raid team bounces between people that are running 300,000 DPS up to 900 to 950,000 DPS. Just depends on who's with us and what they're doing. So cool. I mean, right now we're carrying people. It's not too bad.
Okay.
We did poke at Heroic Gorath, and that looks fun because the only additional mechanic is 1/4 of the room gets on fire and you just have to move the boss. But that was when we were having really bad internet issues and Discord issues and other stuff. So it was miserable. But I think, we'll try that either this week or next week again. And I think we'll get them down.
Cool.
So I've been doing that on Tet. I got all the way through the Argus campaign on him, and he's at the get all your followers to 950 gear level. So when you first get to Argus, you go through all the campaign and they're like, okay, get all your followers to 900 if they're not. And then there's the second stage where it's now get them to 925, and then now it's get them to 950. So I've got 2 or 3 at 950, and I just need the rest of them up there. But the mission only comes out every 3 days, so it's kind of intentionally gated to be slow. You just have to kind of find that mission when it's up and send your followers for it. So I'm doing that. I've got, of my 9 that have gotten into Argus, so Tet's on the 950, and then I've got 6 that are sitting at the 925. 1, my shaman just got to get to 900, and then I've got my druid who hasn't got to that part yet. And then I have my priest, monk, and demon hunter parked on the sidelines right now, but they both have almost complete sets of unsullied gear. So as soon as they hit 110, they'll have 880 gear waiting for them in their bags, and I can just do the Broken Shore stuff real quick for the class mount, and then go to Argus and not feel like I'm too far behind on the curve.
Great.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that, trying to keep up with the class story stuff. And also just as a break, because it's like, okay, leveled 9 characters, don't want to level. I've gone through the Argus story 9 times, don't want to, or 7 times, need to take a break. So we have my daughter and I and some of her friends have a couple of Minecraft servers up on the Minecraft realms that we play with, and we just started a brand new survival only one. No, can't use the console commands, can't use any of the what is it? Not crafting mode, the actual mode where creative mode.
Creative mode. Yeah.
Yeah. So we made it through the first couple of nights. Didn't starve. Got enough wheat and stuff like that found, so we got that started. Found some chickens, so we started breeding those, and then thankfully we were able, because we couldn't find any sheep, like nowhere. With a ton of wolves, which is why we couldn't find any sheep.
Right? Makes
yeah.
sense.
So finally, there's a huge body of water, so I took a boat out, ran into shore. There's another body of water, took another boat past that and found some sheep, and was able to get just enough wool to make 2 beds and then get back before the wolves ate the sheep. So we're still trying to find sheep that we could pen up and actually breed, but right now for some reason on the server the wolves are running amok.
Amok.
Pretty much. And then she also found, while we were exploring, one of the mining things we did, we stumbled on this huge underground cavern. And so we started exploring that, and she found a mob spawner, and it was spawning skeletons. We're like, oh, this is great. We can get, all sorts of stuff. So we had to, put some water in to create a little waterfall so we could ride that down into the cavern where it was, and then start clearing everything out. So we had a fun hour getting that all set up, and now we've got it blocked off for later. We'll come back and have fun with the monster spawner, but it's been good. It's been a good break, and it's more fun playing on the the survival, because every decision actually matters and you have to do stuff. We've been able to find a ton of resources, iron and coal, but we haven't been able to find any redstone or gold or anything like that, so we can't make compasses or timepieces or anything like that yet. But that's our next goal, is we're going to go out and do that. So we've just been having fun, log in for an hour, get some stuff done, log out, and yeah. So that's what I've been doing. Also, I think we mentioned it last time, McCullough, but our game finished up, right? We saved the world.
Yeah, the City of Mist. Yep. The Paladin's heart went flying, and we sacrificed the true believer's heart on the altar, and the zombies. Yeah. And
yep.
Yeah, you had some big guns.
I did. I have some holy guns, apparently, for my Ginslinger.
They're the Ginslinger.
Yeah, and then we are starting. One of our players actually wanted to DM, so she's going to DM for the first time, and we're all starting up characters. So I'm still.
And she did ask for backstories, because she does want to do something more story driven. So.
No. So McCullough will have a 12-page backstory.
I need to. You know what? I'm to this point though. I think I might take like some parts of a backstory from games that aren't character driven, and kind of super incorporate them.
Right.
Because I have characters that have interesting stories that'll never be told. So.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I wish we were still playing.
Deadlands.
Still playing. No, 4th edition, because I could bring my. I could bring Book over.
Well, you can always remake Book in 5th Ed.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not as powerful. The spells.
Well, nothing is as powerful. I mean, 4th Ed was a video game, where this is more classic D&D.
I know. It was just more fun.
I know.
So,
I know, dear.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. I've also been shipping. From going back to WoW, there's also just spending time in Argus, opening chests, killing rares and stuff like that. I've gotten so many pieces of unsullied plate that I've had to ship it over to my AIE Peak tunes, because it's like, here, hold this. So as soon as that AIE Peak tune hits 110, they'll be fully outfitted. So yeah, it was interesting, because I was talking with Old Man Franks, and he's like, yeah, I wish we could trade in like Sargonite or the stuff for some Unsullied tokens. I'm like, I'm swimming in them. I can't, I don't have enough tunes to do all this with the Unsullied tokens. So yeah, it's interesting to see the drop rate among different players and stuff like that. But all right. Well, I think that is what I've been up to. Anything else that anyone wanted to cover or remember?
I did just get my Con Before the Storm kit.
Oh, nice.
So they expect those to start popping if you backed that, and came with the Con Before the Storm T-shirt with the cool logo.
Gorgeous.
Awesome.
And little bits here and there, little pins, some kind of special Con Before the Storm Blizzard pins.
Wow,
Cool.
they're doing some great stuff this year.
Yeah. Yep, all kinds of fun stuff. So I'll have that for BlizzCon.
And that was from their Kickstarter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then World of Podcasts, if you're interested in who's going to be on World of Podcasts, all the names and hosts are out. So Rose going to be on there from Realm Maintenance. Ben, John from Azeroth Roundtable are going to be on there. I know
but
Fist
separately.
and Thorn are going to be on there separately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott's doing. I think Scott's going to be on there with Bo. Yeah. There's a lot.
I think they're doing a core thing.
They are. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
and then Ben's part of some. I forget what was it called. That he's part of a bigger group that's going to do something, a panel.
Yep, exactly. So should be fun. Keep it, and they're going to try and stream all that. So if you're not going to BlizzCon, then you can watch that as well. And I think the World of Podcast stuff is the day before BlizzCon kicks off.
It is, yeah, usually at least.
Yep.
So that's all good.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So
All right. Well, we have a shout out from Marcus B, who wants a shout out to his ops team, DST, which are the Death Star Troopers. They've been getting better every week, and he's happy to have them. Tonight, they run Gods from the Machine again. Also, a huge shout out to our buddies Max and Seema for the new format of the podcast. Great job.
Yep.
And
yes, it was
show.
very interesting to listen to them actually play through the starting area and have some discussions about it. So it's good.
Fun. Very fun. So that is our show for tonight. Wow, the chat room began suggesting titles. We want to thank us for joining us. So, guys, round of applause for us. Pat on the back, what have you.
All right. If you have a question or comment about our show, you can email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. I am at the Mew Cow with a K. Michaela is at Cyberwaith. Tetsemi is at Ivory Tiger. We record live with video every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us on our website, and that's aie-guild.org/podcast-live-stream. And our Discord server for chat is at bit.ly/AIE Podcast Discord. Our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul on Twitter or visit his website, keyswithsoul.com.
All right. And Max popped into the chat room and triggered one thing. So right before we sign off, if you are interested in upcoming content for Star Wars The Old Republic, they will be publishing the roadmap on Monday. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion on the AIE Discord in the SWOTOR channel. So keep your eyes peeled for that. All right. And speaking of segments, it's now time to play all of the great AIE member segments we received this week, including Overly Dramatic News with Hunts the Wind. Welcome back, Hunts. We're glad you survived the hurricanes and are done working on the hurricanes for now.
Yep.
Yes, he stopped hunting the wind because the wind was hunting him.
You know, at that point, it's bound to get dangerous. So, all right. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. So until then, AIE, this is Makala.
This is Mew.
This is Tetsemi.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Yay!
Yay!
We may actually have to come up with our own dang show title.
So, talk amongst yourselves.
I need to stop saying your name different every week. It's kind of funny.
No,
I don't know
it's
why
fine.
it does.
No, I thought that was a thing.
Right. No, it is. It is. It's fine.
Well, I don't do it on purpose. Just my brain will short out and make me say the name. Like I can't say Duras's name. I say it differently every time too.
Right.
It's because you have too many A's and he has too many U's, and it's just
Right. Durus.
Yeah, I just threw some letters at the wall that sounded vaguely Slavic for the warlock she was based off of, or the witch she was based off of in a game, and
And now it's stuck.
It
All right.
is.
So I think McCullough has come up with the first show title, Talk Amongst
Talks
Yourselves.
amongst yourselves. Anything you guys want? Look who's talking.
No, I think I think we're good.
I can't think of anything better than that.
Nope, Sybil's going to come up with one. I think she's going to come up with one.
No pressure.
No pressure.
I'm still tired from all the long work I was doing.
It'll be interesting to see. I want to definitely listen to the SOTOR podcast this week once the roadmap comes out and see what Max and Seema think of it and do a deep dive on it. So, title Raiders Wanted to Play Within.
Yeah, that
Not
works
bad.
across many games.
Yeah.
That does.
Where have the Raiders gone?
To Las Vegas, right?
Right. Yes.
Oh,
they're
that's
the
right.
Golden Knight.
That's
Yeah,
true.
they're going to Vegas, and then the hockey team is the Golden Knights.
It's interesting to see Vegas with the sports teams now.
Yeah. Oh, and Max said they are going to talk about it on the podcast on Tuesday. Yeah, I figured Max would probably do a Tuesday podcast as opposed to the Thursday podcast for that. So
Makes sense.
Yep, jump on that
Yep.
news.
cool. All right. Well, I think with that, chat room, thank you as always for
Thank you
joining
as
us.
always, guys. You're awesome.
Glad to have you.
It is time to eat. So
Ooh, what are we having for dinner?
Yes, what are we having?
there's coq au vin and there's chicken salad Veronique in the fridge. So awesome.
I was gonna go with scallops and asparagus.
We made the most amazing
Oh.
chicken salad this weekend.
Really?
It was a chicken avocado salad.
Yum. That sounds delicious.
I stumbled across it on somewhere, and it was avocado, chicken, corn. You can also put boiled eggs in it, and not green peppers, green onions, and what else? I think there was something else, but it was just so good. Like it's like it's like the chicken salad kind of salad, not like the
Right.
leafy salad.
Yeah.
No. Same thing
Yeah.
with the chicken salad Veronique that I make.
Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
chicken salad that is
Oh, are you going to do the
no
scallop
greens
bisque
unless you want to
tonight?
add them.
Are you
Yeah,
doing the
that's right.
salad bisque tonight or the scallop bisque?
No, that's
tonight?
on Wednesday night.
Okay, cool.
Oh, we have a slow cooker cooking.
Alright.
That's what we're doing today.
Ooh, nice.
Good night, chat room. We'll see you later. We're making
Good
ourselves
night.
more hungry, so we need to go eat.
Yes,
I know, right?
yes.
Need to grab
Bye.